Attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be going over some basic information about the hoop shoot season, specifically for district directors, including some important dates as well as important changes to materials and procedures. So thanks so much for taking the time out of your afternoon to spend it with me. My name is Colleen Musinski. I'm the Youth Programs Associate here at the Elks National Foundation, and I run the day-to-day of the hoop shoot. So glad you're here, and let's get started. So first and foremost, some webinar information. If you can't hear me, turn up the volume. And if at any point you get disconnected, simply click the email link again and re-enter the meeting. You can re-enter as many times as you'd like. If you have any issues, feel free to call us here at the office at 773-755-4730. But I'm sure as district directors and as committed hoop shoot volunteers, you've been through this before. I don't need to tell you anything else, so let's just jump right in. We're just going to go over the hoop shoot program goals really quickly. It's something I like to do before we start each webinar because it's good to keep in mind. Keep these goals in mind as a framework for everything you do for the program. So what are our program goals? Well, obviously, the one goal of the hoop shoot is to make sure each contestant makes, or doesn't make, but attempts 25 free throws. But we want to go beyond that. So these are the 3 program goals we've made for ourselves for the hoop shoot. We like to create a quality experience for youth. We like to engage contestants at every level of competition. Promote program values to contestants in new and innovative ways. And of course, increase Elks visibility and inspire parents of contestants and other hoop shoot partners to join the order. So again, it's a good idea to keep this in mind when you're doing anything for the hoop shoot, and especially at the district level. You have kids who have won at the lodge level and are committed and inspired by the program already, and you want to engage them, get them excited about winning again, and even if they don't win, make sure they walk away with a quality experience. So what we're going to go over is the 5 keys to success for any district director. So these are 5 actions that all successful hoop shoot directors complete, but especially and tailored to at the district level. So, number 1, a successful hoop shoot director will follow the director's drills checklist. This checklist is an essential guide for all directors and will keep you on track for a great contest. The resource clearly outlines everything you need to run a successful hoop shoot and provides reminders for before, during, and after your contest. I would recommend consult it often, and I'll show you how to find it in the next couple slides. Number 2, all successful hoop shoot directors do their prep work. Although small and not so small details that need to be done before the contest are done with any successful director. And we'll go through some of these as a reminder. Number 3, this is in all caps because it's very important. You're going to get tired of me saying this over and over, but all successful hoop shoot directors communicate with everyone: contestants, parents, volunteers, other hoop shoot directors at contest stages above and below them. Communication is a key component of a successful hoop shoot program, and I'll definitely illustrate that. Like I said, you're going to get tired of me saying it, but it's very important. Number 4, a successful district hoop shoot director submits their paperwork. We don't have a lot of mandatory paperwork for hoop shoot directors, and especially at the district level, but there are a couple mandatory forms that we do have that are very important. So we'll go over those, let you know what you need to do with them. It's a good quick reminder. And finally, and probably most important, and it goes along with communication, is successful district directors follow up. They follow up with families after the contest is over, they follow up with their volunteers, and they follow up with directors to let them know the next step. So these are the 5 keys to success I'd like you to get out of this webinar. Successful district directors make sure that they do all 5 of these things. And let's go into these in a little bit more detail, starting with that checklist. So again, as I mentioned, a successful district hoop shoot director will follow the district director's checklist, which can be found on the hoop shoot website. it's a roadmap and a lifeline, really. Everything you need to keep on track can be found there. And the District Director checklist can be found the District Directors tab of Directors Drills on the Hoopshoot website. So I just said district and directors and drills a lot. And it's a little bit confusing, but hopefully you can see here on the screen. Number one, you log into the Hoopshoot website and you click Directors Drills. And then two, you click the Directors Drill, see, I'm even confusing myself. Number two, you click the District Directors tab, and that the checklist is the second link listed there. So everything you need is posted on the Directors Drills tab, actually, including the checklist. You have a lot of other resources. So what I'd like to do right now is actually take a little field trip, and let's go and see if we can find the checklist ourselves. So let's exit out of here for a second and go to our Hoopshoot website. So here we are at www.elks.org/hoopshoot. And again, you're going to sign into the website using your elks.org username and password. To save time, I've done that already. So you're going to click Directors Drills, which is here on the left-hand side. All right, and from here, as you can see, we have lodge directors, district directors, state, promotional materials, contest materials, and merchandise. So, finding the directors checklist for district directors, you click on the district director link. And here it is right here. If you can see it, I'm right here by my cursor, the district directors checklist, step-by-step guide outlining the responsibilities of district Hoopshoot directors. So in addition to that, you can see we have our Hoopshoot participation report, which is brand new. And that's something we'll go over in a little bit more detail a little bit later. We have a letter to lodge contest winners, certificate of achievement, and flyer for contest winners. All three resources will also go through in the coming slides on our PowerPoint. And then there's also some Hoopshoot letterhead and other resources. Hoopshoot webinars, much like this one, are all posted in this section right here. I just want to direct your attention to a couple more places while we're here on our field trip. The Contest Materials tab is another great resource, and this is a resource that every director, whether it's from the lodge level all the way on up, can use. As you can see, we have our Hoopshoot PSA posted here, which is fantastic, and we might take a look at it a little bit later as well. We also have registration forms, scorecards, and age category sheets. You know, the nuts and bolts of your contest. If you need extra materials like this, they can all be downloaded here. You've got your pocket manual and a certificate of insurance, speaking points and keys to success. Really anything you need to run your contest can be found here. And the great thing about the Hoopshoot is, you know, the contest is very similar at the lodge level all the way on up. So it's something, these resources can be accessed and used by every director at every level. A couple more things I want to direct your attention to. We have the promotional tab. And this is for the more, you know, designed, sleeker, nicer looking materials that were found in your annual mailing. So we have the poster and the brochure here. We also have the Hoopshoot logo if you'd like to use it for any of your materials. A note about that, as you can see, the logo is posted here, and you can use it for merchandise. So if you have a local vendor that you'd like to use to create Hoopshoot merchandise, go ahead and download that logo there in the promotional tabs. Speaking of merchandise, here is a list of where you can find our sanctioned vendors, many of which are located here in the city of Chicago. Contest apparel, including mini basketballs and novelty items, can be found here through Windy City Silk Screeners. In addition, there's more information about ordering trophies, basketballs, and Hoopshoot pins. Trophies, again, are something that are provided to you by the Elks National Foundation. You will get first and second place trophies delivered directly to your mailing address 2 weeks prior to your contest. But if you'd like to order third place trophies or some other sort of award for your contest, feel free to contact Barton and Company, and the information is there. So that was our quick detour to the Hoopshoot website. I can't stress it enough. It's a great resource. It has everything you need just posted right here. If you have any questions about accessing it, about getting an elks.org username and password, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. I can help you with that. It seems like it's a painful process, but it is painless, I promise. Just need your email address and a password, and then you can access all of this, which is great. So, all right, let's go back to our PowerPoint, and we'll take a minute for this to load. Oops. Let's go back there. Hold on just a second. I've lost you. There we go. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties on my side. I'm sure that you couldn't even tell, but all right. So sorry. All right, so we've taken a detour. You can see where that checklist is. Again, the checklist is a great resource. It'll save yourself some time. You could quick reference. You don't have to sit through me talking for an hour. If you have a quick question, just access and follow that checklist. It is a life source and a lifeline. So as mentioned, the second key to success for any district director is to do that prep work. So we know that there are several tasks you'll need to complete in preparation for your contest, but I want to point out a couple things that might get overlooked. So the first is preparing a congratulatory letter for your lodge contest winners. After receiving the registration forms for lodge winners from your local lodges in your district, you should have an outreach plan to immediately communicate important details about the district contest with the families of winners. And an easy way to do this is use the template provided. I showed you it's posted in the district director section of the Director's Drills tab on the Hoopshoot website. And this template is something that you can edit yourself. You can include the date and location of your district contest, as well as your contact information. And this is a must. And it's a must because I personally field a lot of calls from lodge parents, from parents of lodge winners looking for district contest information, and it really doesn't leave a favorable impression about the program or the Elks. I can't tell you the number of times I'm on the other end of a phone call with a parent who's just completely confused as to the process and doesn't understand where their child is going as the next steps, doesn't know the location, doesn't know the time for warm-ups, doesn't know anything like that. And we want to make sure that this is clearly communicated. Don't assume that the lodge director has provided these details. Pass it along yourself. Make sure you're the one to pass it along. Because like I said, it doesn't leave a favorable impression of the program if people are confused as to where they're going next. And to be quite honest, I do field a lot of calls, but sometimes I'm worried about the number of calls I don't receive. The number of families out there who don't hear anything and then just decide not to participate. Simply having a flyer like this on hand and passing that information along is the difference between a child having an opportunity to go to Springfield and not. And as I'm sure you know, the experience in Springfield is something that's fantastic, and it's worthwhile, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but Contestant doesn't even have that opportunity if they don't compete at your contest. So they should know where and when, they should know those details, and create this flyer. It's simple, editable, post it on the website, pass it along so they know where they're going. So speaking of prep work, there are a couple other things that I'd like to draw your attention to, a couple of other resources that just to save yourself time and stress and headache to get done before your contest. So prep work for district contest means the obvious basics, securing a gym space, recruiting volunteers, and promoting your contest to local youth. But these are reminders of things that you want to make sure you do before, because they're hard to do last minute. So the first is gather extra contest supplies and volunteer instructions. Go on the website to the contest materials section, print off some more registration forms, age category sheets, just so everyone's on the same page and so you have enough of those on hand in case, someone spills coffee on all the score sheets, or, a contestant comes without their registration form and needs another. Plan for the worst and keep all those on hand so you have extra just in case. Another thing you want to think about doing before is preparing opening remarks to address the audience. As a district director, you don't necessarily have to be the person assigned to speak to the crowd, but do make sure an elk representative is on hand to address the crowd before the competition. Most often, especially at an advanced stage of the contest like a district contest, you might already have an announcer that would be willing to address the crowd, have some opening remarks. Make sure you craft exactly what they need to say ahead of time. You can use the 2015 Elks Hoop Shoot speaking points, which are pictured all the way down here in the right-hand corner, to craft something. And this document is in the contest materials section of Director's Drills. Or you can use a template speech provided in the instruction sheet for contest volunteers and officials document. So there's two places where, there's kind of a canned speaking points and canned speech that you can draw inspiration from, but make sure you make it personal as well. Make sure everyone knows that they're there because of the Elks. Make sure everyone knows what your local lodge is doing to help youth in their community beyond the hoop shoot. And it's a great opportunity to really play up everything that you guys do in the community that's great, and make sure that everyone knows that that's who's responsible for this hoop shoot contest today. So great opportunity to kind of brag about yourself a little bit and the lodge. I know that seems counterintuitive, but you do want to make sure you do that. You want to make sure everyone knows why they're there. Another thing is you want to think about recognition. As I had mentioned a little bit earlier, first and second place trophies are provided to you by the Elks National Foundation. And if your district contest date was received on time, you should get them from Barton and Company 2 weeks prior to your contest. So if you passed that date along to your state director already, I'm sure I have it, and you're all set to get those trophies on time. But, make sure you also think about ways to recognize third place, or even kids who don't place at all. A great way to do that is use the Certificate of Achievement, which is pictured right here as well. It's posted in the contest materials section of the Hoop Shoot website, and you can edit it for anything. This one right now, I don't know if you can see, it says local champion, but you can put in personalized information and maybe print those out on a nice paper for all of your contestants. So. And the last thing you want to do, and that's the last thing pictured here, it's right here on the left-hand side, is create a flyer for contest winners. So much like you wanted to make sure the information about your contest was clearly communicated to your lodge winners, you also want to make sure that that information for the state contest is clearly communicated to your district winners. So make sure you know where the winners need to be and when, and make sure you give that information to them. And this is another way to do it. You can write it in or type it here. This flyer template is again that's pictured is again available in the District Directors tab of the Hoop Shoot website. And with all of these resources, feel free to use the ones we have. Feel free to create your own with the Hoop Shoot logo if you'd like. If you have something tried and true that you always use, go for it. Use it. Whatever works for you. This is just a good way to remind yourself that you want to make sure you do all of these pieces before your contest date. Like I said, some of these things slip through the cracks. It's not necessarily something you think about maybe until the last minute. Hopefully this jogs your memory. You can sit down and do it, take an hour or two weeks before your contest, so you're all set. So a lot of what I just said has to do with communication, and I think I had mentioned you're going to get really tired of me saying that word, but communication is key. District directors from Oregon to Maine, if they are successful, they share one thing in common. They are master communicators. And these three main groups, in these three main groups on your screen, you want to make sure you have clear, direct line of communication before, during, and after your contest. So you want to make sure you exchange contest information with the state director and invite him or her to attend the contest. You need to make sure you have their contest information to pass along to all interested parties. Like I had mentioned before, going to national finals is an amazing opportunity, but the only way your contestants are going to be able to do that is if they know the next steps. So it's important you touch base with your state director before your contest so everyone's on the same page, and then again after your contest so everyone knows where they're going next. We're all a team here, state and district directors especially. Make sure that all the information is out there and that you pass it along to your winners. You also want to make sure you have direct and clear communication with your volunteers. Provide job descriptions and review contest rules with volunteers and officials before your contest. Make sure everyone is on the same page and understands their duties on contest day. And this is especially important for people who are doing registration. Age categories matter, and contestants who compete in the wrong age category will be disqualified for the next level of competition. Now, this reminder is something that's very important to lodge directors, but almost equally important to district directors. If you notice that a child is put in the wrong age category, it's something you need to step up and say. It might be a hard position to be in, especially since it wasn't your mistake to begin with, but no one wins if you have a 10-year-old shooting in the 8 to 9 category and they move on up. Eventually, someone's going to have to tell that child that they're disqualified. And again, it's not a great position to be in as a district director because obviously it was a mistake that was made at the lodge level and it wasn't your fault. But imagine if that contestant continues to win in the wrong age group. They're not going to be qualified for national finals come that time. Putting in all that extra work and effort would be such a bummer if they would be disqualified. So make sure everyone's on the same page with that. Again, review contest rules with volunteers and officials. Make sure everyone's on the same page. And then finally, you want to communicate contest information, including rules and next steps, with contestants and with parents. So make sure everyone knows how the contest runs. And again, I've probably said this a million billion times. Make sure everyone knows where they're going next, especially winners. So, and then another reminder that's not posted here on the screen, but you want to make sure you communicate with the Elks National Foundation, your state director, and your lodge. You want to pass along successes. I love hearing about district contests and getting pictures and stories in the mail or over email. So if you have a success story or a stellar kid that came to your contest you want to share, let me know. Email me. Share those stories. We all win when we share successes. All right. I don't think that's the last time you're going to hear me say the word communicate, but for now, we're going to move on to our next key to success, and that is submit your paperwork. As district directors, the paperwork you need to fill out is minimal, but it's incredibly important. You want to make sure you forward registration forms for winners and runners-up to your state director. And this is really the most important piece of paperwork that you need to make sure you do. It's really the only piece of paperwork that you're responsible for directly after your contest. Make sure that all these registration forms are filled out completely and signed by a parent or guardian. And again, extras are available on the website, or you can give me a call or shoot me an email for a template, or I can send them via snail mail as well. Whatever you need, just make sure they're filled out and signed and forwarded along. And then just a note here, the Lodge Contest Report form is now completely online. And this report form is not your responsibility. You do not need to fill this out. But in order to get an accurate picture of hoop shoot participation, it becomes everyone's responsibility to make sure lodge directors are filling them out. And so what I'd like to do in the next couple slides is just go through the Lodge Contest Report form. And I'm so sorry if you already are an expert at it, because it's very simple, and I'm sure a lot of you out there are. But let's just go through for those of us that don't know. In the past, participation was reported on a physical sheet that kind of went from lodge director to district to state, and then all the way up. What we've done is streamline the process and put it right online so that lodge directors report their participation numbers directly to the foundation. And so, while we've streamlined it, we've also created some communication problems for us because we want to make sure everyone knows that the way to report participation is different, it's now online, and it's the responsibility of the lodge director. So that's where you come in, district directors. We need your help to make sure that all the lodges in your district, whether they had a contest or not, are reporting these numbers so that we get a good picture of who is competing in the contest. So basic information, I'm not going to go through each of these in a bunch of detail because, again, this is something for lodge directors to fill out, but just so you're familiar in case they have questions. The link is under the Lodge Directors tab in Directors Drills. You need an elks.org username and password to access it. There's only one form per lodge and username, and you have the ability to save and print a PDF for sharing once you submit the form. The Lodge Contest Report Form breaks down participation in preliminary and lodge contests. So if you have a lodge director who has who engages all the schools in their district and has thousands of kids participating, that is fantastic, and that's something we want to hear about, and that is through preliminary participation. So on the actual form, it asks who participated in a preliminary contest and who participated in the sanctioned lodge contests. Then it also asks other information about volunteers and engaging contestants. So here it is, circled in green. It's again under the Lodge Director section of Directors Drills, and on our quick field trip you saw where the Directors Drills tab is on the Hoop Shoot website. So if any lodges have any questions that you can't answer, send them to me. I have sat down and gone through step by step how to access this form multiple times over the phone, and I'm happy to do it. So, if you have a lodge director in particular who is not necessarily computer savvy or just maybe doesn't even want to try, encourage them, tell them that it's really an easy form, 5 minutes at the most. Maybe a lodge secretary can help out, or someone, a cyber assistant, or someone who's maybe more familiar with the computer. But we aren't accepting lodge contest report forms in any other way except online, and this is how participation is measured now. And so if we're all on the same page and pass this along, we should be good. So one other thing about the lodge contest report form, and this is probably more specifically directed at district directors and state directors, is we've created a Lodge Hoop Shoot participation report. So it's kind of a database that you can check and see. You can sort it by district or lodge number or lodge name, and by state. So you can kind of see, if you're a district director in Illinois, you can see who in Illinois has submitted a report and who hasn't, and then you can also see by district as well. So this is the newest edition. It's posted on the website under district directors. I think I mentioned we'd talk about it a little bit later, and here it is. It's really handy. We update it on an ongoing basis, so it gets updated every time a form is submitted. So this is up to the minute information about participation numbers, who's turned in a form and who hasn't. So, you can go and look and say, hey, Clinton, Illinois hasn't reported. They're in my district. I better give them a call, or I better shoot them an email. So, again, if we all work together, we can have a really great, accurate picture of who is participating in the Hoop Shoot. So if you have any questions about this or need help accessing it, let me know. It's a great resource. We kind of, after last year, want to be a little bit more transparent about where we're at as far as participation goes. And if everyone has access to this resource, the better. So that's enough about that. Let's move on to another key to success, which is follow-up. So you want to arrange for expenses of your district winner's travel to the state contest to be covered by the contestant's sponsoring lodge. And so that's something that you want to get the ball rolling on as soon as you know which lodges you need to speak to. And ensure that all these arrangements are communicated with families. So you can create a mailing list or an email listserv and ask parents if they'd like updates, if you can communicate that way. You also want to make sure that you call winners' families and answer any questions they may have. So, the most important part of follow-up is to be available. Make sure the contestants and parents know that if they have any questions about the information provided, that you can be counted on for answers. Make sure they have the contact information for their state directors as well. And so this is just all about being transparent and making sure that everyone is on the same page. I think I've touched upon it in the communication section, but follow-up much like prep work, is an important piece of a successful contest and something that, you know, you might think of the day of your contest. But these reminders are important to make sure everyone's on the same page. And finally, you know, you want to make sure that contestants and families are on the same page, but you also want to follow up by alerting local media of your successful contest. You can use the news release generator, which is posted on the website, to create a news release for your winners and send it to local papers. And you can also pass along our new public service announcement for the Hoop Shoot. Pass it along to a local cable access channel, or, you know, a school. Always be promoting your contest even right after it's over. You want to share successes so that others are encouraged and inspired to join the contest next year. And also to honor those who have done it this year and show them how cool it is, and really, you know, participating in a hoop shoot is a great accomplishment, and you want to highlight that. So I mentioned the PSA. It's posted in our Director's Drill section. I thought that maybe we could watch it right now. It's 60 seconds. It's fantastic. Great succinct way to illustrate how great the program is. So let's do that really quickly. We're going on a lot of field trips here in the district, the Need to Know District webinar. I appreciate your patience. So it's in our promotional section right here. And let's take a look. I don't know that the audio was good on that. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Okay. Wow, guys, I appreciate your patience. I'm so sorry. So the PSA is here. It doesn't look like the audio was working correctly. So I'm sorry you just had to see that silently, but check it out. Again, it's a great resource. It's a fun, succinct way to promote the program. So I'm so sorry. Let's get back to it here. Okay, so we just have a couple more things before I'll let you go. Again, thanks for your patience, especially with the technical difficulties. I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to mention that, you know, given the number of hoop shoot directors from across the country, email is our #1 form of communication. So make sure we have yours. Obviously, if you signed up for this webinar, you got multiple emails from me about it, so I appreciate it. And you know, if you talk with others who aren't getting these updates, let them know that they're all through email. It's the easiest way for us to communicate stuff. So encourage everyone to give us their email if they're not getting them. A lot of times my emails get directly deposited into spam or trash folders. So if you know, make sure that your email inbox is set up so that you can receive our communication. And just another tip, we want to hear from you. We want you to tell us all about your contest or highlight the achievements of an awesome contestant. We have something called the Contestant of the Week form, which is located in the promotional section of the website. And I also email out frequently. So if you have someone at your contest that you think would be great to feature on our website, fill out that form, send in a picture. We'll throw it up there. And email hoopshoot@elks.org and attach digital photos of your contest. Always looking for contests to highlight and feature. You know, sharing helps us all learn, from lodge directors all the way on up. So again, don't be afraid to brag about your contest and let us know. Email or call and let us know how your contest went. And finally, we have a couple other upcoming webinars next week already, which is crazy. I can't believe it's already next week. We're having a Fun Tips for Engaging Contestants webinar. It's for all directors at every level, talking about engaging contestants before, during, and after your contest. The 9th, we have a webinar much like this one, only for state directors. And then all the way in January, we have Need to Know About National Finals. So whether you're planning on coming, thinking about coming, or just wanted more information about, you know, the end of the road to Springfield, that webinar will be available on January 20th. And if you have any ideas for webinar topics, please let me know. And if you ever need a copy of the PowerPoint slides used in any of these presentations, I'd be happy to email them along. We have all of our webinars posted directly after they're run on the Hoop Shoot website and on the Elks National Foundation website, so you can, you know, send it to others who might not have been able to come. I know that we run these during the afternoon mostly because this is the only time our office is open, so I know a lot of people work, and so if there's someone out there who can't catch it while it's live, they can watch that recording. They can fast forward through all of, you know, my technical difficulty mistakes too, so that's helpful. But yeah, so webinars, those are the upcoming ones, and they're all posted on the Hoop Shoot website. And finally, so that is the end of the webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box on the right-hand side. You can type your message in directly, and I can answer the question here. Also, I'm always available at hoopshoot@elks.org or via telephone at 773-755-4758. All right, so I have a question here. Can we get all the info on lodge directors for our district? For sure. If you just want to send me a quick email, I can give you a spreadsheet of the district excuse me. Let me restart. You can. If you email me, I can get you an Excel spreadsheet of the contact information for your lodge directors. Now, unfortunately, I don't have lodge contest dates available. Just given the number of lodge contests and how they're all always changing the dates, I don't have a comprehensive sheet, but I can provide you with email addresses and phone numbers for all of the lodge directors in your district. Just send me a quick email. Great question. All right. Thanks so much for bearing with me today. So sorry for the technical difficulties. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and again, thanks so much for spending time with me today.